Hi, Empower You. I know you are anxious to see this presentation. I'm super excited to bring it to you because when it's called How to Get Your Buyer a 4% Interest Rate in a 6% Market, we all want to know how to do that, right? 2022 has been a year of inflation, it's been a year of rising interest rates, and those things are scaring buyers. But it's our job to change the conversation. It's our job to guide them through because we all know that it's a great time to buy. There's more homes on the market right now. There's less competition, so you're not having to go over ask as much. And you can get things like, inspections done or seller's assistance. So we're starting to see a lot of that come in the market, and we want to show you how to make your clients feel at ease going forward. So today we're going to talk about the how to get your buyer a 4% interest rate in a 6% market. And we do that through something called a temporary buy down option. So what this does is it allows your borrower to have a lower interest rate up front, and it is going to increase up to the actual normal rates of whatever's locked in at that time, and it's a predetermined amount, so they're going to know it ahead of time. There's no surprises. And I want to be very clear that this is not an adjustable rate mortgage. Again, it is not an adjustable rate mortgage. Your interest rate can only change a maximum of 2 times. You know exactly when it's going to change up front. So there is nothing that is going to surprise the buyer during the process. And it's also very important to know that it costs the buyer nothing to do this. There is no additional fees to do the temporary buy down. There's no additional points. There's no add on to the rate. So this is something that we can be doing for all of our buyers upfront to help them ease into the higher interest rates that we have gotten. So I'm going to give you an example of how this works. So in this illustration, you're going to see a loan amount of $250,000 with a 6% no rate, so a 6% interest rate, and this is the 2-1 buy down option. So here you can see a chart that you'll see normally the client is at 6%, but in year one, in months 1 through 12, they're going to pay a 4% interest rate. So a payment that is normally $1,500 is going to be basically $1,200. It's going to save them $300 a month for the first year. And the way that works is there's a subsidy. So the $300 is going to get subsidized because the lender locked in the rate at 6%. And they still want their $1,500 mortgage payment. And they're going to get it because it's going to be subsidized by $300 a month or $3,600 a year in this example. Now, at the end of year one, the payment is going to change because the interest rate is going to go from 4% to 5%. And that's months 13 through 24 or year two of the loan. So we are increasing slowly on the borrower. So instead of paying the $1,500 that they would normally have to pay, and they were paying $1,200, now we're going to increase it to $1,342. They know exactly where it's going, exactly when it's going to change. So we're going to subsidize their payment by $156 a month, or about $1,800, $1,900 for the year two. Then in year three, months 25 through 360, so the rest of the loan, they would be at 6% interest rate because they locked that in up front when they got their mortgage, and their $1,500 payment is exactly what they are going to pay for the remainder of the loan. There is no subsidies left. All the money got used. So in this scenario, you'll see the annual buy down, what it costs per year, and then the total buy down costs $55.46. Now, it's important to note that the subsidy has to get paid. So what happens is at settlement, we put money into an escrow account to pay for the temporary buy down. The buyer is not allowed to put that money into the escrow account. It has to be paid for by the seller with seller's assistance, or if you are in a new construction, the builder can do a buy down for you as well. So let's give you an example of that. Let's say you were able to negotiate a 6% seller's assistance on this transaction. So not 6%, $6,000. So $6,000 minus the $5,546 gives us a remainder of $453. Now that $453 can be used to pay other closing costs for the buyer, just like it normally would, okay? We're just going to pay for the temporary buy down first, and then any remaining money would go towards any other closing costs. Now, it's also important for you to remember you still have normal seller's assistance limitations. So if they're putting 5% down on a conventional loan, you're limited to 3% of the sales price. If it is 10% or more, it's 6%. And of course, the government FHA and VA is allowable 6% seller's assistance. So I ran a lot of numbers, and even at 3% down, or 3 and 5% down, where you're limited to 3% seller's assistance, in most cases, it covers the entire buy down unless you get a low loan amount. So this is an option for most people. And what we will do when we're pre-approving, if you're going in with an offer asking for seller's assistance, we will definitely make sure we have enough money to cover that subsidy to put into the escrow account. So what is the benefits to the borrower? It reduces their initial payment required, and the full principal and interest will be subsidized with the buy down funds like we just talked about. It's a predictable monthly increase based on a predetermined structure. So like I said, we know exactly when that payment is changing. We know exactly what it's changing to, because it is in this scenario, 30-year fixed rate loan at 6%. So they lock in their initial rate up front. They know exactly when those payments are changing. This is not an adjustable rate mortgage that's going to vary year to year. So it's predetermined up front. Any excess buy down funds would be returned to the borrower if they were to sell the house or refinance the house before the end of the buy down. And it's more than likely going to be returned to them towards a principal reduction. So if they owed $230,000 on the loan and they still had $2,000 left in that buy down option, their payoff would now be $228,000. So it does get returned to them. So they end up losing nothing on having to refinance or sell the house early. They still get all the money back. And since it doesn't cost them anything to do the buy down option, no fees, no points or anything, it's really a good deal. And as we said, the seller or the builder is going to fund that temporary buy down through closing cost assistance. And as we said, make sure that you are in the allowable seller's assistance guidelines when doing this. Some things you should know. It's eligible on any fixed rate mortgage. You cannot do this on an adjustable rate mortgage. It must be a primary residence, so we cannot do this on investment properties. Single family homes, PUDs, condos are all acceptable. You can do it on a conventional loan, an FHA, or a VA loan, and it just needs to be a purchase transaction. So most of your clients are going to qualify for this based off of the guidelines. And they can do this as a 2-1 buy down or a 1-0 buy down. So the example we showed you was a 2-1 buy down, 2% off the first year, 1% off the second year. Or you can do it as a 12-month buy down, a 1-0. So it's 1% off the rate the first year, and then year 2, it just goes to whatever they locked in at. So you're only getting a reduction for 1 year instead of 2. They do need to qualify based off of the note rate. So in this example, we would qualify the borrower off of 6%, not 4%, because we know eventually they're going to be paying 6% on their own, and they need to be able to qualify for it. Initial interest rate is temporary reduced by no more than 2% off the note rate, and increases by no more than 1% on an annual basis for no more than 2 years. So the example I showed you with the 2-1 buy down is the maximum that you can do. No more than 2% off the rate for no more than 2 years, and it cannot increase more than 1% a year. And the borrower and the seller or builder will sign a temporary buy down agreement at settlement, so they understand that the borrower is doing a buy down. The seller or the builder is giving them money just like in seller's assistance. It's no different. They are not entitled to any of that money. And the borrowers just sign it. They understand that the interest rate will increase, just like we said, over the 2 years of the loan. If you have any questions, you can reach out to the Rebecca Foote Mortgage team. We are here to answer these questions for you. When you're writing offers, you don't need to do anything different. You simply can just ask for the seller's assistance. And then when we go to do the mortgage, we will take care of the buy down. There's, like I said, no fees for this buy down. There is no extra points to do this buy down. It really makes sense, especially if you think the borrower is going to have an increase in income, if they are planning to move, or if we think interest rates are going to be reduced and they're probably going to end up refinancing. It makes sense for that as well because they don't lose any of the money. Or even if they don't end up refinancing, it's still the same as them doing a 30-year fixed rate at 6%. It's just they're using the seller's assistance to ease into that payment during times of rising interest rates and high inflation. So any other questions, please reach out to us. We would love to help you out with this, explain it to your borrowers, and any questions that they have or that you have, we are here to help.